Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pod's Moving and Storage Studio, it's the Ramsey Show, where America hangs out to have a conversation about your life and your money. I'm your host, George Campbell, joined this hour by my good friend, Mr. Ken Coleman, and we are taking your calls about life, money, career, purpose, work at 888-825-5225. In case you missed it, it's been an amazing week with a lot of fun calls, interesting calls. We talked to a couple who put $112,000 on credit cards for their wedding. We had Rachel Cruz and Jade.
Those pictures turned out well.
Goodness gracious. I asked her if the ring looked like a disco ball.
No joke.
So we had Jade Warshaw and Rachel Cruz host together for the first time.
I saw that. I was passing through the lobby, and I saw it. I was like, now that's what Thelma and Louise should have looked like.
That was, the spicy show. Jade had an epic rant about car payments that were over $1,000. I know, Ken, you're very passionate about the insanity of car loans and how they're keeping Americans broke. And Ken and I covered Buc-ee's and their amazing pay and benefits and their culture and my first Buc-ee's experience. So it's been a fun week of segments and shows. You can check out all of those if you missed it on podcast or on YouTube. And on top of that, in case you missed it, we had an incredible event just steps from here in our atrium, the Building Wealth in 2023 live stream. We had about 600-700 people in the crowd, hundreds of thousands tuning in online. And Ken, that was a blast. I'm still a little sleepy. It felt like a fever dream.
Yeah, I got out of here last night at about 10 minutes to 10 and back in this morning and did a little Fox News appearance. And so it feels as though I've been here for 48 hours.
Wow.
And we're locked in, but we're excited. I will tell you, it was a special night. Really great stuff. You and Dave and Rachel did a great job with some great keynotes. And then we had a fun conversation with John Geloni and I joined in, and we had a lot of fun, a lot of laughs.
A little too much fun was had. And if you want to see what we're talking about.
Not possible.
Well,
you can't have too much fun.
It was borderline off the rails at times. I think we can admit that.
Not true.
Wow.
Now you're going to have to watch it. You have to watch the delay to see who's right, me or George.
Well, hey, the good news is if you missed it, you've got the FOMO. You can still tune in. You can go to RamseySolutions.com/wealth and catch the replay over there. Love it.
Yeah.
Let's get to the phones. Sarah is waiting in Denver, Colorado. Sarah, welcome to the show.
Hi. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. How can we help today?
So my fiance and I are going to get married a little bit later this year, and we're talking about buying a house. I actually was married previously and got a divorce, and he is now in the picture, and I have had a significant amount of assets over time. Like, we have similar salaries now, but I've just had a decent time to pile mine up. And so although from a family and marriage perspective, we do want to take what you guys typically talk about of merging our finances and treating it as an us, group and how do we buy a house and so forth. But I also bring quite a bit of cash and brokerage accounts and so forth I could use for either the down payment or even buying a house outright. And so I was kind of curious your advice about when one person has a significant amount, it's you want to protect yourself. I mean, I did go through a divorce before, but at the same time, I don't want to go into my marriage thinking of the quote unquote worst case scenario.
Well, it's a reasonable thing to be thinking about because of, the hurt you felt in the past. Divorce is one of the most difficult things a person can go through, and it can scar you when it comes to the way you view money. And of course, we talk about this is our money. Once you're married, combine all of the accounts. And the only time we would recommend a prenup is if you are coming in with, astronomical assets compared to the other person. And it's more to keep the crazy family at bay versus a distrust in the other person. So what kind of assets are we talking about? Give us some numbers.
So I have about $2 million between retirement accounts, and I had sold my previous house that I owned with my ex-husband and walked away with a bit of cash from that. And so I'm sitting on, just from a cash standpoint, over $500,000 as I'm trying to decide, do I want to buy the next house? Do I want to put that in the market? Not just rush into a decision. He, on the other hand, probably has more $500,000. So again, neither one of us is at any hurt from a financial perspective. But when it comes to, buying a house, that was not something he was like initially planning for. So it's more tied up in like brokerage and stocks. And with the stock market going down, it's like, how do we get to something where like I could buy our house, but I want him to feel like he has skin in the game.
Sarah.
But at the same time, yeah, like you get
Sarah,
my point. Like,
we totally
want to try to merge, but
but here's the deal.
At the same time, keep in mind,
Sarah, Sarah, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I think we really got to dive in here. What are you most afraid of? I don't think you're calling for strategy. I could be wrong. Are you calling for strategy about how we merge all this and how we do this, or are you worried about something?
I think it's more like
Sarah, don't edit. You're trying to edit. And listen, I get it, but we're here to help. And if you just tell me what you're feeling right now, we can help faster. Tell me, stop editing. What are you thinking that you didn't say? What are you worried about?
The main thing I would be worried about is like if for some reason the marriage didn't work out, like on one hand, I would want to make sure that this significant amount of money is still being recognized as mine, especially if it ended in the short term.
So stop. Okay. The answer to the question is you are worried that the marriage is not going to work out. The money stuff is secondary. Do you understand?
I would say I'm worried about being stupid. Honestly, if I was going to like get really to the butt of it, like, I don't think our marriage is not going to work out. I think there's an element of like I don't want to be the stupid person
but
down
wait,
the line of
wait a
doing
second.
something.
What would have to be true? And I want you to give me a specific answer. What would have to be true for you to be stupid?
Yeah, I would have to go sideways for some reason.
And the marriage would not have to work out. The marriage is going to work. If the
I think
marriage,
there's also a secondary component of like I wanting him to not feel like I bought stuff. I had the money at the beginning, and therefore it's quote unquote
now we're getting there.
In our relationship.
Sarah, now we're getting there. You have more money than he does, and that freaks you out a little bit, and you're worried about it. That's really what I'm hearing. So this is pre-marriage counseling. This is a good old-fashioned steak and candlelight dinner, and you look at him and you go, I'm worried that you're going to feel this way and this way and this way because when we bring our finances together, I'm bringing more to the table than you. Do you feel that way? George, I think this is a communication, relationship, premarital therapy thing, and get this thing solved and get this out of your head. And then when we merge the finances, we walk the baby steps out. We live that way. I think it's going to be fine.
Yeah, I don't see it as skin in the game or adding up who's bringing what to the marriage. It's about commitment. It's about unity. It's about shared vision. And I think once you focus on that instead of the numbers, it will give you some peace. I'm going to gift you guys Financial Peace University because I think it will give you confidence in your own futures together as a newlywed couple. Hang on the line. Austin will gift that to you. Wishing you the best.
Look, I love real estate, and I want you to have a house, but I don't want a house to have you. That's why you need to get in touch with Churchill Mortgage to make sure you do this right. These guys are awesome. They'll help you get on a smarter mortgage plan because they're committed to doing what's right for you. That means they check in every year with free consultations to help you stay on the right plan. They show you how to save money and interest so you can build wealth faster. They walk you through the total cost of your loan so you can make the best choice. Basically, they care. That's why we call them Ramsey Trusted. You can achieve debt-free home ownership, and Churchill is here to help. Go to their site, churchillmortgage.com/Ramsey, to start your approval or get more information.
Welcome back to the Ramsey Show. I'm George Camel, joined this hour by Ken Coleman, and we are taking your calls at 888-825-5225. Ken is here to help you answer those purpose questions, work, career, all of that. And there's so many of that out there, Ken. People are going, is now the time? I got the toxic boss. Yep. I think it's my time to go.
Yeah.
What's the general sentiment out there among the workforce?
The general sentiment is that millions and millions of people changed jobs. They call it the Great Resignation over the last year and a half. It was over 70 million, or about 4 million people a month. Staggering numbers. And so what that means is when all those people changed jobs for a bigger paycheck, they left a lot of people behind. And so then it kept perpetuating itself. They're like, well, Fred left and got a bigger paycheck. I'm leaving. And that's continuing to happen. So I think a lot of people are now going, well, I heard that they weren't happy when they left. So should I stay? Should I go? I think there's a lot of angst about the pending recession that the news loves to scare the crap out of us with, So I just think there's a sense of uneasiness. And as the Ramsey personality, it focuses on work, working for income and working for impact, the difference you want to make in the world. I'm here on the Ken Coleman Show here today to just steady your nerves, give you some practical knowledge, and then give you some confidence that, hey, I can take care of this. I can control this. Washington, D.C. has nothing to do with my future.
I love that. Well, hey, if you've got questions of that nature, we'd love to hear them at 888-825-5225.
And I should point out that I'm extra serious today, George. Do you know why I'm extra serious?
Why is that?
I've got the cardigan on.
That is very serious, Ken. He means business. I mean, you're borderline Mr. Rogers right now.
The only thing I'm missing is a pipe.
That would add a little bit of flair to it.
So
let's
help some people, shall
we? All right, let's get to it. Well, Ken, I want to get to this video that we stumbled across. As you know, I like to get riled up by watching videos on social media.
You're in the rabbit hole.
I know.
You like to get on the old internet.
But it's for the good of the people. I gotta have my finger on the pulse of what they're watching.
Boy, I tell you, do you ever?
And they're sending me the videos going, hey, what do you think about this? Is this wise?
I'm going to tell you what I think.
Well, Ken hasn't seen this video.
I've not seen the video, folks. Full disclosure, I'm seeing it the same time you are.
Well, let's see what the internet is stirring up today.
When it comes to real estate investing and why this is the best asset class, this is about as simple as I can make it. We're doing a light rehab, and my flooring guy asked me, he said, Jason, why are you all in on real estate, and why are you not investing in stocks and Bitcoin? I said, that's a great question, Mike. Do you have a 401k? I asked him. He said, yes, I have $200,000 in my 401k. I said, great job. That's better than most. Scenario number one, your dad gets sick. You have to take him to a nursing home. They're charging $7,000 a month to keep him there. With your $200,000 in your 401k, how long can you keep him there? He thought about it for a moment. 28 and a half months. That's not a long time for being in a nursing home. Scenario number two, your dad gets sick. You still got to take him to the nursing home, and they're still charging $7,000 a month. But instead of having $200,000 in a 401k account, you took that $200,000 and bought 10 cash flowing assets that produce $10,000 a month. How long can you keep him there? He thought about it and said, forever. And that's the power of real estate.
All right. Well, that was a fast-moving, hard-charging real estate guru right there, Ken.
Yeah, and this is the problem with the TikTok world we're in. YouTube, I love it. We're on all the things, okay? But it's like if I'm going to take something and that complex, that serious, and I'm going to reduce it to a bunch of jump cuts in a video and go when it's done, like I've just taken care of your day. Come on. This is clickbait stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
This is cotton candy.
What got me is
sadly, a lot of people are like, oh, yeah, you're right. I got to dump my 401k and go buy a property right now. This is essentially what he just said. This guy probably has a whole lot more knowledge and experience. I don't want to bang on this guy because you say anything in this world, now this is going to go out there. And then we said something one time about somebody who gave silly advice, and the lady wanted to debate me online. I got news for you. I don't care what you think. This segment involves what I think. And what I think is this is clickbait. It is surface advice that can get people really hurt. George, you know this. Why?
Well,
what happens when you take that advice and you don't know what you're doing?
So this whole fast talking thing is to get you to do basically nothing down real estate. It's like down as little as possible. Cash flowing assets.
What?
That's the hot ticket item right there, Ken. If you hear that online, run. Those guys have an online course to sell you.
I promise you he does.
Cash flowing assets, that's what it's all about. Don't invest in your 401k. You got to get nothing down real estate because then your tenants will just pay your mortgage and you'll be a millionaire in no time.
Yeah, no brainer. You can't jump cut your way to financial success. And that's what that was.
Tweet that. There you go. Whoever's on Twitter, whoever's left over there. Well, here's the deal, Ken. First
I
of
thought
all,
that was pretty good.
He totally faked this scenario where the flooring guy is going, hey, why aren't you investing in Bitcoin?
Completely, yeah. The flooring guy.
That never happened. Second of all, this weird thing about what if your dad's in the nursing home and you got to pay for the nursing home? I don't understand why that's the scenario he goes to, but
it's called long-term care, George.
We always recommend long-term care because of that scenario. So talk to your parents. If you've got someone who's in the elderly stage and they may be going, you got to get long-term care in place to cover this, number one. And we don't know. Dad may have a bunch of retirement. Why is this on you? Don't set your kids up in that way to where they've got to tank their 401k. Well, and the other point I have is that your 401k creates cash. It's invested. And with an average return, 8, 10, 12%, it makes money.
And you can get as close to a guarantee with that. You can't guarantee that you're going to be able to buy 10 houses and they turn into all this that he's talking about because you're talking about spinning off rent money.
Oh, and the renters just magically pay perfectly every month and don't damage the place in the HVAC and the roof and everything just stays perfectly fine.
Yeah, and so what do you think the average, you know what, let's have some fun with this, George. This strategy, which by the way, the only thing missing on the end of that video was, hey, buy my product so you can buy your dad a castle on the beach with a hot nurse. I mean, that literally was the last thing needed to pay that off.
We may have cut him off early. He may have gone into that.
Yeah, might have got into that. What do you think the average person running that strategy, what do you think they're making on rent?
Well, you got to imagine they've got
$500.
They've got very little equity in the property.
Yeah.
They've got the mortgage to pay, plus maintenance, plus HOA, plus expenses, plus their insurance. And after that, their net profit is very slim.
Okay, but let's just pick a number to because what I don't want to do is critique this and not help you see the other side of it. So let's say they're making between, George, you're the math guy.
Most people are making
$500 to $800. You're clearing that. You think they're clearing that?
That's
First
my
time
guess.
out.
From callers that call in who have investment property with mortgages on it, they say, "Well, we're making about $10,000 on it."
Would you say so? The net would be between $500 and $800.
That's fair.
All right, so times 12 months.
Yeah, so you're talking $6,000, $8,000.
Versus
$10,000
versus investing money in a 401k over the same amount of time.
Well, you got $200 in a 401k and you get a return of 10% on that $200k. That's $20,000 that year. That you didn't have to do anything, by the way.
You didn't have to mop the floor, talk to a tenant who's got more cats than they do since. I mean, you don't have to do that. I mean, this is real numbers.
Absolutely. And here's the thing. We love real estate around here. Dave's got a lot of it, but he paid cash for it, which changes the way you view it. And the return on that investment is astronomical compared to you trying to keep up and pay the mortgage and net profit on that thing. And so you want to talk about cash flowing assets, pay cash for that investment property and add up what that amounts to.
But see, that's not in the video. The video doesn't explain how long it takes for all that rental income to equal the amount of money that he's promising.
Absolutely.
And the risk involved.
So here's the deal. The more boring it sounds, the more I'm excited about it because I feel like, oh, I could do that. When it comes to handling, 10 pieces of real estate with nothing down, that's a lot of anxiety in my life while trying to work a full-time job.
Here's an old saying. And I don't know who said it, George. If it looks or sounds too good to be true, it probably is. And that's the clickbaity stuff that we got to be careful about. How in the world can someone give you this unbelievable sound financial advice in a 1-minute TikTok or whatever it ends up being? I just got to tell you, folks, it's cotton candy.
Well, our advice, hey, once you're out of debt and have an emergency fund, invest 15% into your 401k. Sounds boring. And guess what? It's the #1 investment vehicle to becoming a millionaire based on the 10,000 that we studied. Do with that information what you will. And by the way, you can have a great 401k and invest in real estate with cash.
And a nice cardigan.
And a great cardigan to match. There you go. This is The Ramsey Show.
Still on baby step number 1, eh?
How'd you guess?
With healthcare costs rising, learn how Christian Healthcare Ministries can help you make the most out of your budget. Visit chministries.org/budget.
Don't worry, it's worth it.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm George Camel, joined by Ken Coleman, and we're also joined by a lovely couple on the debt-free stage. We've got Fernando and Miriam with us. How are you guys?
Doing good.
Doing great.
Where are you guys from?
Fort Lauderdale.
Wonderful. And you guys are debt-free. How much you pay off?
We paid off $141,090.
Wow. And how long did that take?
46 months.
Awesome. And what was your range of income during that time?
We started off at $110,000 and just wrapped up last year around $250,000.
Whoa.
Okay.
Hold on.
Story time.
Got to dig in there. What happened? What was the cause, or who were the causes of that increase in income?
So it was a couple things. So promotions between the both of us.
Nice.
Changed jobs, side hustles.
Lots of side hustles. So I worked full-time and then I did work part-time at Target. I picked up, I did some shifts with Shipt to deliver groceries and sold items on Poshmark.
Way to go.
In addition to Target?
Yes.
What do you mind me asking what you made in your side hustle at Target? What was your hourly rate? Do you mind sharing?
The hourly rate was $15 an hour, which that's pretty cool.
I say this every day on the Ken Coleman Show. If you just need something to get through, you did it as a side hustle to get out of debt.
Yep.
Let me tell you something, folks. $15 an hour at Target. What were you doing?
I was I worked at guest services, so I kind of moved around wherever they needed me. I made myself available so I get more hours and learn different areas of.
Okay, folks,
What
this
a
is
rock star.
the poster child for the opportunity that exists right now in the United States. And I just want to point it out. Good on you guys. You just went after it. But the opportunity is there to get through the baby steps faster, is it not?
Absolutely.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, that's great.
That's awesome. So what kind of debt was this 141?
Oh, just a bunch of normal stuff. So credit cards, our wedding, 2 cars, and the student loans.
Wow, and a partridge in a pear tree to add to that. Oh, my goodness. So 46 months ago, this changed. How long have you guys been married?
We celebrated 4 years this past July. So
hey, that's exciting.
So we're talking like you came back from the honeymoon and you're like, all right, time to stop being broke.
Yeah, basically. And we've been following the Dave Ramsey Show for, about a year before we got married. And we had a conversation that we always wanted to be debt free. And to be honest, the first 2 years we did a ish plan. And it wasn't until about March of 2020 where we did FPU through our local church in Tampa, Florida, where we were living at the time. And that's where everything just got serious. We did the first session and we looked at each other like, look, we need to stop doing our plan and follow the plan and just submit to the process. And that same week, we took what was in our savings besides $1,000 and paid off her car, the phones that we owed, and some other stuff. And then we
How much? I got to ask you this because a lot of people wrestle with this part of the plan when we take calls, and I want to dive in here. How much was in savings that you just emptied to get to $1,000 to truly do baby step 1? How much?
I think it was about $12,000.
All right, so I have 2 questions. How freaking scary was that to do that?
I was ready. She was.
I was not. I was not ready. Stability, security. It scared me so much. If it wasn't for me, we would have done it sooner.
All right. So now the second question is: once you did that, and we've put $11,000, we paid off your car and some cell phones, if I recall. Mm-hmm. What did that feel like for you on the other side? Because you were the one that were afraid, Miriam. So what did it feel after we did that with the 11?
So worth it. Just so worth it. Freedom, even just a little bit.
Yeah.
Not the freedom I feel now, because now that we're completely debt free, it's just another, I don't have a word for it, but starting to feel the freedom that would come.
I'm going to give you a word for how it feels. Good.
Yeah, that's good.
Definitely.
You guys are amazing. See, that switch flipped and you just went all in. Obviously, you were working multiple side jobs. What was the hardest part for you guys on this journey for 4 years?
I think that's for you.
I guess getting on board 100% with the Dave plan, really really, I can't speak enough of the small group we had in March 2020. The Kraft family led it. They led it so well. We became good friends after that. We told them we were here. They're so excited for us. And I guess it's hard to stay on track because you have to say no to a lot of good things to wait for great things. And so that's
watch
tough.
out.
Just drop that. What was the hardest thing to say no to? What was the thing you're like, gosh, we're on this plan. We can't. We just can't.
We missed out on every other family vacation. So like my brother and family lives in Texas, and so they had like these cabin trips and these bigger things that happened, and we just had to say no to it. It was like, sorry, we can't go. We're on a plan.
We also had to push back our Europe trip that we had planned. It was canceled originally because of COVID, but then it didn't feel right to do if we weren't debt free, and it was that much sweeter when we got to go in September of this year after becoming debt free.
Oh, that's incredible.
European vacation.
Yes.
We feel like you earned it because you would have had to put that on
absolutely.
the credit card, and you would have justified it by going, well, we got some cash back out of the deal. Yes, we're winning.
It was all paid for, and it was just coming back knowing that we didn't have to put it on a credit card, and it was cash flowed. We were like, that was great. Now we could just and get ready for the holidays and enjoy that too. So
wow.
Yeah.
And there's such power in going through that financial peace class in person with real people.
Yes.
Because when you don't show up, they're texting you going, hey, what the heck, guys?
Yep.
We would love to see you. Why didn't you show up? And so there's such accountability built in, and you go, oh, we're not alone. We're not the only ones sacrificing. We're not crazy for doing this thing.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah. It definitely just for us, it just gave us the discipline and having those conversations. And I think for another thing that happened during when we took FPU, we did the envelope system. We weren't doing that before, and when we just take the cash out and like if the envelope's empty, like you can't use it anymore.
Yeah.
Like okay, well that's it until the next time. So
Our poor restaurant and groceries envelope is falling apart right now.
Oh,
we need
my
to get a new
goodness.
one. I might have to pick up a wallet.
Yeah, but what
I think we know
discipline?
somebody. I think we can get you one of
Yeah.
those.
Got
I
plenty of
love,
those.
by the way, I have the spiritual gift of giving away Dave's stuff.
Love
I
it.
want to point that out. Yeah.
So you guys did this stuff. There's another couple out there who probably just got married, and they're sitting there with the pile of debt and payments. What do you tell them to actually get them on board with this plan?
it's totally worth it. The peace that you get from paying off your debts and the freedom, there's nothing that can really just, you just have to experience and feel it. So actually a thing that happened to us, I was laid off in December. And when I received that news that I was, going through, a layoff, for me, it was kind of like, okay, this is interesting, but it didn't feel like complete panic mode. It felt like, well, we paid off our debts. We have our 6 months emergency fund funded. We're going to be okay. We're going to be fine. So I got home, we sat down together, we looked at the budget, and like we were able to just know that we're going to be okay and we're not going to struggle and we're going to get through this. And if I have to go to Target or anywhere else to pick up a job, it's going to be fine.
Hey, I've got to ask you about that. So you had financial freedom that gave you a different type of freedom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Freedom to choose where I want to work.
Yes.
Am I right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We're not panicking. I'm not acting out of urgency. I'm acting out of intentionality.
Correct.
Wow.
I think also what I would tell someone who's newly married is that it's very important to live below your means. Because we choose to live that way, we didn't even have to dip into the emergency fund because we can survive off of one income. It was just time for vacation for him for the last month. He did actually turn down an offer, not once, but twice after they came back because it didn't feel right.
Wow.
Which was interesting and very difficult, but we really trusted God in that season.
Yeah, but again, the confidence that comes from freedom.
Yes.
This is
absolutely.
No desperation.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
I'm so proud of you,
Well,
bro.
and you guys have a resilience where you're not victims anymore. You're not whiners. You just go, oh, we have opportunity. We can just go get a job.
Correct.
We'll do whatever it takes. We'll live on less than we make.
It turns out it's a great negotiating tactic as well.
Yeah.
You're not even trying to negotiate. You're like, nah, I'm
What
fine.
a flex.
I'm good.
Well,
Yeah, nice flex.
we are so proud of you guys. We've got the Live and Give box for you, which includes the Total Money Makeover, Baby Steps Millionaires, as well as a year of Financial Peace University. You can use that or give it away to someone to get them started on their journey. And we are so honored to have you guys. Let's get to the moment we've all been waiting for. It's Fernando and Miriam, $141,000 paid off in 46 months, making $110 up to $250, multiple side jobs, living on less than they made. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1.
We're debt free.
Yes, they are.
Another debt bites the dust, Ken.
No, I like that.
Nothing can stop them.
No,
They've
and
built the habits, they've got the discipline, they've got the resilience, the perseverance. whatever comes their way, they're going to get through it.
They didn't just change their money, folks. They changed their life. There's so much evidence of that. What a fantastic couple. They're on their way to real legacy.
That's
Great
what it's
stuff.
all about. You can do it too, America. It's available for you. This is The Ramsey Show. Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm George Camel, joined this hour by my good friend Ken Coleman. And Ken, it's a big day today because it's Quitter's Day, apparently.
Oh, is that right?
A new holiday. And a lot of people, they've got career goals. They're starting to give up. And I thought you could give them some hope. Can you do that?
How about we give them a tool?
That's good, too.
Yeah, hope and a tool? Okay.
Both and.
So, so quitting, right? Like, here's what happens. Quitting is an excuse, and it makes a lot of sense when we're in the midst of hard things. So let's just get real about the baby steps. We have a lot of people watching and listening that are whether they're Dave-ish or they're all in, they're in the midst of this journey, right? And I think of baby step 2 as the hardest stage. It clearly is. It's brutally hard. Because we feel bad about ourselves. We got into this mess. Now we got to get out. And we believe in the baby steps, right? People go, it makes sense what these folks are saying on the Ramsey Show. And then what happens is we get to a point where it gets really, really hard. And then when it gets hard, I don't know if you're like me, but when things get hard, marriage, parenting, work, the baby steps, life, can I get an amen? Like, life is hard. So what happens for me is I start to feel like it's impossible. So my emotion, George, is that the harder something is, the more unattainable or the more impossible it becomes. And then what happens is I start to reason, I start to think and logic my way into, well, if this is impossible, why am I doing it? And so then what happens is our human nature, we just kind of go, well, it's the smart thing to quit. But it's not. It's easy. Quitting's easy, but quitting's not smart. And so what I found out in my own life is that the right things are always hard. Being faithful, committed to Stacy for almost 25 years. It's been harder for her than me, to be honest. Bless her heart. But it's hard. It's really hard.
Yeah.
Parenting 3 teens is brutally hard. All you parents out there, by the way, with little kids, and you think it's hard? Nope. You're exhausted. It's just not hard. Wait till the emotional, your kids are driving, they're dating, they're trying to figure themselves out. It's brutally hard. Brutally hard. I'm just being honest. But those are the right things for me to be a dad, to be a husband, right? Getting out of debt is brutally hard. It's the right thing. For me, for my family, for my freedom, my livelihood. We understand that. And so that's the challenge. I want to encourage people that we come on this show every day and we answer your questions and we tell you practically, here's how you get out of debt. Here's how you build an emergency fund. Here's how you pay for a house cash. Pay your house off. All these things. And the steps are simple, but it's really hard. And I just want to acknowledge some people today that are really feeling like they're going to quit because they don't think they're ever going to get there.
Well, it turns into a lot of negative self-talk and a lot of self-doubt. And it's a lot of going, yeah, Ken, of course you quit again. You're that kind of guy. The way we talk to ourselves, we would never talk to someone else.
That's a great point.
You got to get back on the wagon and go, that's not my identity. Just because I screwed up the budget once or I'm in a career I don't love. That's not you. It doesn't define you.
Yeah.
You can always change.
That's right. And I think the challenge is just if you're doing something hard and you know it's right, you can't quit. Now, let's just be real. If you're doing something that's really, really hard and you know it's the wrong thing, okay, there's your permission. Quit that. right?
Yeah.
But if it's a right thing, ask yourself, is this right? Is this worth it? And if the answer is emphatically yes, and getting out of debt, working in a job that you are good at, that you love, that produces results, seeing purpose in the Monday morning, that's worthy. Starting that business that is going to solve a problem that's very deeply personal to you, maybe from past pain, that's the right thing. It's hard. And so I just want to acknowledge, George, that some of you are doing some really hard things right now. And I know what it's like. And it's worth it. So don't quit. Don't quit. Just get your eye on the prize, finish line. One step in front of the other. Just one. Win today. If you win today, then you can win tomorrow. And getting out of debt, losing weight, starting and launching and growing a business, discovering who you really are in this world and what it is you want to do, whatever it is, fixing your marriage, becoming a better parent, rescuing the heart of your kid who's wayward. I don't care what it is. It is not a get it done right now. It is going to be one step at a time. And so if you're in that, know that we are here for you at Ramsey Solutions and all the different shows, all the social media accounts, the tools, everything. We're here because we all know what it's like, including Dave, to walk through the hard times when you just don't feel like you're ever going to get over the mountain. You will, and we're going to walk alongside of you. That's what I want people to hear.
I love it. Well, if you are a new listener, which I know we had several 100,000 tune into our live stream, if you just kind of stumbled upon it on YouTube and you're going, who are these people? What is this plan that they're talking about? Well, if you want to learn about it, we have created an awesome tool for you to get started. All you need to do, go to RamseySolutions.com and click on the Get Started button, and we will guide you. We'll give you the right tools and resources based on your answers to the questions. It's a completely free tool, and we want to help you do that. It's based on your specific situation. Because, Ken, I've heard you say this, clarity leads to confidence. And so many people just need that clarity of what is the, tell me exactly what will work. Show me that other people have done it. Show me that I can too.
Yeah, you know, that's really true. I want you all to think of a time where you've been driving and you hit maybe a dense patch of fog to where you can barely see beyond the hood of the car, or a torrential downpour and you can't see. What do? We immediately are overcome with fear. And we slow down and we pull off the side of the road. Why? Because we can't see the road. And not being able to see a clear path forward to progress and breakthrough in my life means I become paralyzed. And so clarity does lead to confidence, and this is the best part. Confidence leads to courage. When I'm clear that I can get out of debt and live like no one else, so that later I can live and work and give like no one else, that gives me confidence to step out on the path, but then the courage to stay on the path when life throws its curves and potholes and challenges at us, right? It shakes us, and what do? We retreat back to clarity. Oh, I blew it this month. Wait a second. What's the key to winning a baby step 2, right? Get back to the snowball, right? Get back in. I get clear. Oh, I got to get some momentum. And so that's the idea. Clarity leads to confidence, and confidence leads to courage.
Well, Ken, you got a tool called Get Clear, which I think is apt for this segment right here.
Sure.
So for those that maybe are in the careers, they're going, this isn't it. Whatever I'm doing right now for work, it ain't it. No. I need to get that clarity so that I'm confident, so that I have the courage. What does this tool do?
So here it is, folks. If you had 20 minutes to be able to fully see yourself as you are, what you are good at, what you love to do, and what motivates you. What if I told you in 20 minutes you could get real clear answers on that, and then those answers turn into a purpose statement that become essentially a job description, an overarching job description of the professional contribution that you were put on this earth to make, where you increase your income and increase your impact, money and meaning. That's the tool. It's a great tool. Check it out. RamseySolutions.com/getclear. RamseySolutions.com/getclear. It's the Get Clear Career Assessment. And it's not about you just getting a good job. It's about you making the difference that you were put on this earth to make.
And Ken, we went through mine on the show recently, and it was like you were reading my mail. I was shocked at how accurate this thing was, not on just like listing out potential career paths, which were literally what I'm doing today, but also giving me a purpose statement that helped me go, that's how I'm wired.
That's right.
And
see, that's self-awareness, and a self-aware person is a confident person. Now you're not trying to keep up with the Joneses on Instagram or try to do the business that your cousin did. You're like, no, I'm being me. I'm doing me, baby. And we got millions and millions and millions of people in this country that John Deloney's helping, that are dealing with anxiety, depression of all sorts, and it's because they don't know who they are. We know a lot about a lot of things in this world. We don't know enough of who we are and what we're supposed to do with our life.
That'll preach.
So we're here to help. The Get Clear Assessment. Check it out. RamseySolutions.com.
Well, strong way to end the hour. Thank you, Ken. Good stuff there. Thank you to all the folks in the booth for keeping the show afloat. We got Austin and Will and James and all sorts of people in there. And of course, you, America, we thank you so much for tuning in. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back real soon. Do you love a good Dave Rant? Want to see the latest Ramsey Show videos going viral? Check out your favorite moments from The Ramsey Show on YouTube. Go watch and subscribe to The Ramsey Show channel on YouTube. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studio, it's The Ramsey Show, where America hangs out to have a conversation about your life and your money. I'm George Camel, Ramsey personality, joined by best-selling author and host of The Ken Coleman Show. You guessed it, Ken Coleman himself in the building, taking your calls about work, purpose, career, and everything in between. The number to call is 888-825-5225. Susie's kicking us off in Charlotte, North Carolina. Susie, welcome to the show.
Hi, guys. Thanks for your time today.
Absolutely. How can Ken and I help?
I think it's a simple question. I think I might know the answer, but it's always good to get the reassurance. I'm currently on baby step number 2, of which my main focus is an $8,000 car loan. Said car is a little sick and is going to need a new transmission in the near future.
Ouch.
Yes, I know. It could be maybe 2 weeks, it could be 2 months, or maybe another year, but it is coming, and I would like to try to prepare for it. With the $6,000 projected expense ahead, I did receive, luckily, a $3,500 bonus that I really wanted to send towards the loan, but was curious, should I pause the baby steps, apply that $3,500 towards the new transmission and work to building that $6,000 and then resume the baby steps?
The big thing you want to think about here is I don't want to go further into debt. And so if you've got, $1,000 in the bank and this transmission is going to cost $6,000, then we need to make sure we're prepared for that since it's coming. So I would be pausing that baby step until we have that situation under control. What's the car worth? I'm just concerned that this isn't worth it at all.
Yeah, I know. That's my other concern. It's not going to be. I'm going to be putting $6,000 into a car that's not worth it. But I would be going into debt to get a new car or a different car.
What is the car?
It's a Buick SUV. Kelley Blue Book currently is about $8,000. So if it
even
was
with the transmission issue?
No, that was before.
Who quoted you? Who'd you get your quote from on the $6,000 for a Buick transmission?
A local service guy, and I also have a second quote coming, hopefully today or tomorrow.
I'm a little skeptical of that, and I'm no gearhead, shocking to anybody who knows me. But I recently had a 2006 Lexus. And I was driving it. I wanted to drive it until it died, and the transmission started to go. And I was in that boat to where it was probably worth, with a healthy transmission, about $6,000. And I took it to a local transmission shop here, and they quoted me $3,800 for it. So I'm just a bit suspicious. I'm not saying that you're being lied to, but I like a second and a third opinion. I just don't understand why a Lexus transmission would be less than a Buick transmission. And at that point, you start to go, all right, if I got to spend $3,000 or $35,000 or $38,000 or $4,000, then you decide. And for me, I was in a situation where I could go just cash flow, and I was preparing for it, blah blah blah. But honestly, my kid didn't want it. if my kid had wanted it, I would have put the $3,800 in it in a minute, and just been like, boom, there you go, because now he's got his car. So that's where I'm at. It's going to, if it's truly $6,000, but the car's not worth that, the question is how many more years can you get out of it with a fresh transmission? And if you can get 3, 4, 5, 6 years, it's still worth it to me, George.
Yeah, especially if you're not going to recoup the costs on this thing, which you obviously won't in this scenario. So I'm thinking, first of all, get a second quote. A quick Google search showed me that it should be more like $1,800 to $4,000 for something like that. So $6,000 feels like they're taking you to the cleaners on this one.
I was suspicious.
That's a Google search, so take it with a grain of salt.
Take it with a grain of salt, but your year, your model, and $6,000 seems really high.
So if you've
Let's hope the second quote that comes in, I'm expecting is a little more digestible.
Yeah. So how much do you have in the bank right now? Do you have $1,000?
I have that plus the $3,500.
Okay, and you're doing the monthly budget. You're covering the 4 walls: food, utility, shelter, transportation, with your future paychecks.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I would also start looking into what would it look like to buy a really cheap. It's going to be a high mileage piece of junk that hopefully is still reliable, an old Honda or Toyota that could get you by instead of sinking all this money into this Buick. So that's another option to look into to use that bonus towards.
Okay.
That's fair. And actually, here I come with more Ken stories.
Uh-oh.
So the same Lexus I was just talking about, I listed it for $2,500 on Facebook Marketplace. And I said, the transmission is on its way out. It is drivable. You can drive it anywhere you want to. I drove it today, but it's going, running high. I just told the truth. I said, this is the deal. And I sold it for $2,000. So if you were to do that for the Buick, let's say you did the same thing and you got $2,000, to George's point, now you got to figure out transportation in that time.
But if you could take your $3,500 plus whatever you made off the Buick, now we can get ourselves a reasonable used car to get us through baby step 2 and 3.
So that's an option too.
That's what I would personally be leaning towards because it hurts emotionally to sink that much money into this Buick. That's not even going to be worth $6,000, $8,000 when you put that money into it.
Let's be honest. It hurts. Right. It hurts to put any amount of money into a Buick.
Gosh. And that just is a great reminder that cars are depreciating assets that are just going to die on you. So don't sink too much money into this stuff. But Susie, I hope that helps answer your question. You've got a little bit of homework to do before we can give you a real clear answer, but I'm leaning towards just buying a different used car.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. It's very helpful.
Absolutely. Thanks for the call. All right. Tyson joins us up next in Dallas. Tyson, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for taking the call, guys.
Absolutely. Let's get right to the question. We're up against the clock here.
Yep. So I'm looking to pay off my debt in a couple months, and I'm going into baby step 3 after that. I'm trying to figure out the way to tell where on the range of 3 to 6 months I should be for the savings.
Okay. Are you single?
I'm engaged. We'll be married by that time.
Oh, cool. And what are you doing for work?
I do cloud engineering.
That sounds sweet. Pretty stable job, stable company?
Yes, we actually had good profit this year.
Awesome. And is your wife-to-be working?
She is. She's a full-time librarian.
That feels pretty stable.
Yes.
So I would, in this scenario, you could lean towards those 3 months because you're going to be married with 2 stable incomes. Now, if you had a regular income or seasonal or you're a single parent or you're married with 1 income, then I would lean towards that 6.
Gotcha.
Does that help you?
Yeah, it does.
Start calculating what are all of our bare bones expenses we need to get by. Now, you can add the luxuries in there if you want to be able to live 3 months and keep your life as is, but it helps to know the variance between them to make that decision on what that number should be. But, man, you're on the path. That's awesome. Congratulations.
Gotcha.
All right, we're taking your calls. 888-825-5225. Your life, your money. I'm George Camel. He's Ken Coleman. This is The Ramsey Show.
I say it all the time. If you're a business owner and you don't know your numbers, you don't know your business. And when markets are shifting, it's even more important. You've got to know where you stand so you make your next move the right move. And you don't have to be in the dark here. Over 31,000 businesses, including my team at Ramsey, know their numbers because they use Netsuite by Oracle, the #1 cloud financial system. Netsuite gives you visibility and control of your financials, planning, budgeting, and inventory so you can manage risk, get reliable forecasts, and improve margins. Having everything in one place has saved my team hours each week since we made the switch to NetSuite. NetSuite is a game changer. So head on over to netsuite.com/Ramsey to get a product tour today. That's netsuite.com/Ramsey.
This is The Ramsey Show. I'm George Campbell, joined by Ken Coleman this hour. 888-825-5225 is the number to call. You jump in, we'll talk about your life and your money. Well, building wealth in this economy, you might be wondering, is it possible? We keep hearing that question, and we get your confusion. There's tons of noise out there right now about inflation and layoffs and rising interest rates, and you deserve answers. And that's why we blew up the internet. We packed the house last night right here in Nashville, Tennessee at our Building Wealth live stream event. And if you missed it, don't worry, because we are coming to a city near you. We're taking this thing back on the road. That's right, Dave Ramsey, myself, Ken Coleman, Dr. John Deloney, Rachel Cruz, Jade Warshaw, Christina Ellis. We're splitting up the gang all over for our Building Wealth Live Spring Tour, where we're going to dig into all of these hot topics, and we're going to give you a proven plan to build wealth and keep it.
Where are we going, George?
We are going to Indianapolis on February the 16th.
You are.
I'll be there. Ken, you're going to be in Austin, Texas.
Yeah, where the weird people are and the good barbecue.
Oh, I'm sad. I'll miss that. February 23rd in Austin. Then I'll be back out in Salt Lake City on April 24th. And then you'll round us out in Anaheim on May 2nd.
Mickey Mouse ears on for that one.
A nice little spring Disney vacation for the Colemans, I think, is in the future.
Oh, is that what you think?
I'm spoiling. If your kids are listening right now, which I know they listen to every show you do.
No, they're teenagers. They don't even listen to anything I say, much less the show.
They don't listen to anything you say on air, let alone in the house.
Yeah.
Golly. Man.
No, they're good kids.
They're the best.
It's just dad jokes. Bad dad jokes. They're good
they weren't even here to hear it, so.
They don't listen to the show, though.
Did
I promise you that. Yeah.
By
the way, it's a guarantee not to ever think too highly of yourself. Just have teenagers.
Well, I heard
They'll keep you humble.
Will Ferrell's kids don't think he's funny. And
I saw that.
That gave me great peace and joy.
I saw that interview. It made me feel better. I could come in from some national media hit in New York or whatever, and I'm all excited about it, and my kids are like, yeah, whatever, Dad.
Whatever. We're out of the cheese. Go get us some cheese,
You're
Dad.
cringe. You're cringy.
You give us the ick.
I'm cringy. So now I lean into it.
Yeah.
Right? So if that's cringy, I'm going to do more of it.
That's part of fatherhood.
Yeah.
Well.
Comes out on the show every once in a while, but George keeps me in line.
I try to keep Ken young. That's what I'm here for. So if you want to join us for building wealth in any of those cities, Indianapolis, Austin, Salt Lake City, Anaheim, tickets start at just $49, or you can get a 4-pack of tickets starting at $175. Bring your friends, find some if you got to do that. It's going to be amazing. RamseySolutions.com/events to reserve your seats now. Mark joins us up next in Richmond, Virginia. Mark, welcome to The Ramsey Show.
Hey, guys. Taking the call. Appreciate it.
Sure. What's going on with you?
My wife and I are currently in baby steps 6, and we have the question as to whether we could ever pause Roth contributions to go ahead and pay off the house. We contribute about $900 a month into our Roth, and if we paused it for a year, we get the house completely paid off, and I got a one in college that will finish, and we're cash flowing her, but then another one starting college right when she graduates. So just trying to figure out how to put all these 4, 5, and 6 steps together.
How much are you contributing as a percentage of your household income right now into retirement?
15%.
And you want to pause that down to 0 in order to pay off the house faster?
Pause it down to about 2 or 3%. I've got most of that 15% going in a Roth, but I've got a few other things that I'm paying into as well.
Okay. I would not suggest that, Mark. I would continue at 15% and worry about college later. Again, your retirement, there's a 100% chance that you will need to retire. There's a 50-50 chance the kid gets through school, graduates, and they can get scholarships, they can work part-time. There's a lot of options to help them go to school debt-free. Not a lot of options for them to help you retire with dignity. And that's what we see a lot here on the show is the parents sacrifice their investing in order to take care of other things, which are doing great things right now. But then all of a sudden the kid has to help take care of the parents because they didn't prepare well for retirement. So I would continue the 15%. Yeah. It's not going to slow you down by that much. How long does it extend that?
I was so close to the mortgage being paid off.
Oh, I know that feeling. You're so excited about it.
Chunk gone.
Well, if I had to shave it from anywhere, it's not going to be from investing because you do the opportunity cost on you pausing that investing and what that will turn into in retirement. You'll want to throw up looking at all the money you threw down the drain.
I got an idea for you, Mark. So $900 a month for a year would pay the house off. So instead of generating that $900 in additional mortgage payment by pausing your 401k or your Roth investing, I'm going, how can I make through side hustles, selling stuff? I mean, 9 times 12 is, what is that, $10,800? Wow. Last time I checked.
Ken, that's real good math.
Boy, folks, I had to take my shoes and socks off for that one. Wow. Haven't hit that multiplication table in a while. So basically what I'm saying is, how can you make $10,800 multiple ways to pay the house off in the same time frame, but you don't touch your retirement? What do you think?
Yeah, that sounds like a good plan.
I know, man. That's why I suggested it. What if you have $2,000 worth of stuff in your house? Now we only got to come up with, hold on a second, $8,800. Oh boy, I'm really on a roll.
Ken's on fire.
You know, that's the idea. I love that you want to fast forward it,
but don't rob it from your future.
Yeah, good. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, I love that. And also do a budget audit and go, hey, are we overpaying for insurance? We got to shop that around. Hey, are we always getting a refund every year? Let's change some withholdings so that we have that income back in our life. And you start to do that across the board, and I think you're going to find that $10,000. What's your household income?
About $100,000. What
do you do for a living?
I'm a pastor.
Oh.
Ken loves pastors.
I'm a pastor's kid. Are you handy at all? Like, do you even know what I mean by that? I'm not even sure I'm saying that properly.
No.
Okay, neither am I. My dad was bivocational. He was a pastor of a small church, but whenever we got into some bigger purchases or things that he had to do, my dad was very gifted with, and so he would go do construction work, handyman work, all that kind of stuff. My point is, how can you make $10,800 with your skill set, your connections, your experience? That's what I'd be doing.
Is your spouse working outside the home?
Yes. That's our combined income.
Okay, what do they do?
She's works at a high school.
Okay, is there any way where she might be able to do some tutoring after school or summers?
Well, she's not a teacher. She works as an administrator.
On the administrative side.
In an office. Yeah.
Well, there may be opportunity for her to even do some side hustles so that you guys kind of split the weight of this. Is she as excited to pay off the mortgage?
We're both pretty excited to get the mortgage paid off.
Well, then here it is. It's $5,400 each.
Make it a competition. Who can come up with it first?
Who earns the $5,400 quicker, and then they get to choose the romantic weekend getaway trip after we pay off the house.
Can you go officiate some weddings maybe?
Oh, there we go,
some extra
George.
With the honorariums. That's an idea.
Yeah. I've been throwing all the honorariums that I get through funerals and weddings at the house.
There we go.
I'd be doing every wedding I could possibly. What do you get for a wedding these days?
That's a great question. What do you
give me a range?
What would be the expectation where you go, okay, I think this is fair and generous if someone was willing to do this much?
Well, we get paid less for weddings than you might expect.
I'm just looking for a number. What's the number?
The range is between $150 and $300.
All right. Well,
that's fair.
Now we start to go, how many of those would I have to do? And you're limited, obviously. So what I'm trying to do is really take you down the path to, I could come up with $5,400 pretty quickly, and my wife could probably do it as well. Cleaning houses, doing whatever we got to do. If you really want to knock it out in a year, it's right there in front of you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
And by the way, worst case scenario, it takes one more year, which is incredible. How long was that whole journey then, paying off the house?
Oh, it's been a while. I mean, we didn't get really kicking it into the house until really recently, when you start to taste it.
Oh yeah, and now you're in high gear.
You're like, when you got the big X's on the thousands and you're marking them off, that's when you really start to feel it.
Oh, I love it. Well,
incredible.
I especially love pastors becoming completely debt-free. That's incredible, Mark. We're so proud of you, thankful for the work you're doing in your community, and wishing you the best with the house payoff. This is The Ramsey Show.
If you're like most people, your home is your most valuable asset. And when you want to make improvements, it can feel like everything costs too much or takes too long. But something as simple as custom window coverings from Blinds.com can completely change your space and add value to your home. We've recommended Blinds.com for over a decade, so you know you can trust them. From blinds, drapes, and shutters to motorized shades, they make it easy and affordable to upgrade your entire home, and their team is ready to help with everything from design consultation to measuring and installation. Plus, there are never any misleading quotes or hidden fees. Everything's backed by their 100% satisfaction guarantee, and shipping is always free. See why Blinds.com is the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings. Visit Blinds.com to save up to 40% off everything site-wide. Go to Blinds.com for more information.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show, America. 888-825-5225 is the number to call. You jump in, we'll talk about your life, your money, your purpose, your work. We are here for you. I'm George Campbell, joined by Ken Coleman this hour. And Laura joins us up next in Charleston, South Carolina. Laura, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
What's going on?
So my husband and I are retired. We moved from New York to South Carolina, Charleston. We are completely debt-free, and we have a year's worth of expenses saved up.
Wow!
But due to the house sale, we have about $500 to invest, and we want to know the best way to do that.
So, did you pay for a property in cash when you moved to Charleston?
Yes, we did actually. Once we sold the house, we paid that off as a second home. So yes.
So you got two homes.
No, I sold the one in New York.
Okay. So you're down to a primary residence that is paid for. What's that house worth?
Probably about $400 now.
All right. And what's in your nest egg in retirement?
We're about $300.
All right. Is that in like 401ks and IRAs?
Yes.
Okay. And then aside from that, you've got $500 sitting in cash.
Yes.
Awesome. And what are you guys planning to retire on as far as income?
So we have some rental property that we take home, about $50,000.
Okay, so you do have other properties.
Yeah, and that property is pretty much what's maintaining us. That's why we're able to be retired.
All right. How many properties do you have?
It's just the one.
Okay, and it brings in $50K.
Yep.
That's awesome. And that one's paid for?
Yes, it is.
Way to go. You guys have done so well. How old are you two?
56 and 58.
Great. Well, it's a wise question to ask. What to do with this $500,000? I want this money to work for you long term. Are you going to need to touch this money in the next few years, or is this just, hey, down the line, 10, 15 years from now, it would be great to have this money grow for us?
Just down the line for it to grow and obviously to help children and grandchildren.
Great. Are you wanting to purchase more property down the line, or do you want this to just kind of create a return for you?
Well, a little bit of both. Property has done well for us, so I'm leaning towards that, but I wanted to hear from the experts.
I love it. Well, there's a few options here. Clearly, you guys are comfortable with rental property, real estate, and so it's a great option to purchase a property if you can get a kind of a deal on that and you pay for it in cash. If you can find something that's, maybe $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 that can cash flow another $50,000 for you, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
Or the other option is you put this $500,000 into an index fund or a mutual fund, and with an average return of 8 to 10%, that could also create $40,000, $50,000 a year in compound interest.
Right.
And so it's really what you're most comfortable with. Some people are going, hey, I know real estate. I'm comfortable with real estate. I don't want to ride the stock market roller coaster. The house is going to appreciate over the next 10 years. I want to put that in real estate. You could split the difference. You could buy a $250,000 property, put the other $250,000 in index funds and mutual funds, and watch that grow. Yeah. And so the key is to do one or the other. I wouldn't just leave it sitting in your bank account at 0% interest.
Well, 3%.
You got it in a high-yield savings account?
Yes.
Good. Well, you guys are doing so great. I would also, do you guys have a good financial advisor you're working with?
We actually are in the middle of interviewing 5 of them that came from your website.
Oh, wonderful. Well, I'd get a second opinion from them as they dig more into the details of your financial picture, but I don't think you can go wrong either way because you guys are comfortable with real estate. I think that's a great option, and I don't think you can go wrong with a long-term mindset in the market with index funds and mutual funds.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Sounds good.
I talk it over with your husband and land on a SmartVestor Pro, and I just feel this is not the average call we get from folks that are retiring, Ken.
No, I mean, and by the way, very young. To you, George, 56 and 58 feels a little older. To me, it's like they're 56, 58. They've got paid for home, primary home, paid for rental property that they're essentially living off of. $50,000 is spinning off, and they're in really good shape. $500,000 in cash.
That's a good problem to have.
Checking the boxes.
Love it.
I'm just curious. I didn't get a chance to ask her, moving from New York to Charleston, South Carolina, that's got to be a real change too.
That's
Cost
amazing.
of living, way less.
Yeah.
So, wow, good for them.
It's just a great picture of what it looks like to live out this plan.
Yeah.
And the amount of just peace in her voice and the amount of wisdom she was walking with.
Oh, yeah.
Inspiring.
Yeah.
I want to be like Laura when I grow up. Love it. Let's go on to Bryce in Sacramento. Bryce, welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hey, thank you so much.
Absolutely. What's going on?
I got a lot going on. I'll start. I got married about 4 years ago, and immediately after marriage, my wife and I found out that she was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis.
Oh, so sorry.
And thanks. Yeah, it's been a rough go. So she needed to stop working for her health. So I've been a sole provider. But I have a hard time finding out a career that's right for me and something I love to do. And so just trying to keep us afloat while she goes through her bachelor's degree, which has been debt-free so far. And we just got some medical news yesterday thinking like the future is going to look pretty rough moving forward, but she's still going to push forward in school. And we have about $15,000 in debt, just from like credit cards and stuff. The medical debt's kind of off the charts. We don't even know where it's at. It's gone to collections. But I'm just trying to figure out a good way to keep pushing forward. And when I'm working as a landscaper, I haven't found out what I'm passionate about yet.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot to cover in this. I want us to focus in on the money situation first, because I do have a couple tools that I want to give you. I want you to have the Get Clear Career Assessment in my book, From Paycheck to Purpose, because it really will help you get some clarity. But we've got to get this money situation figured out, George, first and foremost. I just have to ask quickly, I'm not trying to get you to share all the really negative medical news, but I wonder, does the medical news that you got that says the road's going to be really rough, does that road and the prediction of that road being rough, does it make her finishing school? Does it make that a wise choice?
That's something we're considering now. She's going to try to be an LMFT psychology. She'll be done with her bachelor's this spring and wanting to get her master's, but now she may have to have brain surgery. And so we're trying to figure out, what's the best choice moving forward. We don't know yet. We still have to get a test done, an MRI, and have another review.
I just, as you're getting all that medical information, George, I just think it's wise to press pause on any more tuition. The degree, the master's will always be there if, in fact, we should be pursuing that. But this is a reset right now, and this is getting you guys out of debt and setting you up to kind of navigate these choppy waters. I can help you down the road. In fact, let's make sure we schedule him to call my show where we can go a little deeper and getting him a better gig. George, what does he need to do right now financially?
So where are you guys at as far as your bank account? You got $15K in debt. What's in the bank?
Right now, like $60 and $120 in the savings account.
Okay. So we're going to call this storm mode, which means we're pausing the baby steps. We're going to make minimum payments on our debts and just keep up with them. The goal is to not have any go to collections. We're just keeping up. You can be proactive with whatever your lenders are, the credit card companies, and say, listen, my wife is diagnosed with this medical condition. We don't have the money right now. We're just trying to stay afloat. And when you do that, the goal is to stack up as much cash as possible to put you guys in a better financial spot until we know more, until we know what the next step looks like in this. And so what are you making right now landscaping?
Well, because it's seasonal and varies, it's roughly between 60 and 62 after taxes annually.
And when you're not working on the seasonal side, I would pick something up right now. It doesn't have to be the dream career path. We're going to get you there.
That's right. Maybe
Ken's
two
help.
somethings.
But part-time jobs, I know you're carrying a lot of weight right now.
Yeah.
And it's a tough season for you, and I hope there's better days ahead. But the goal right now, storm mode, stay afloat, stack up cash until you know what's next. Once we've got some stability, continue on in the baby steps, get rid of that debt, get the emergency fund in place. That's the best thing you can do financially. Hey folks, welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm George Camel, joined by Ken Coleman this hour. If you're listening to the show, I gotta assume that you enjoy it, at least sometimes, and if you do like it, here's what I would ask of you, because the show's completely free. We're not taking donations. This is not a telethon, but here's what I do ask. Would you consider subscribing to the show wherever you're listening, leaving a review wherever you're listening, and sharing it with a friend? We want to spread as much hope as we can this year, and one of the ways you do that is through word of mouth. And that's how I listen to new things, is it's got to take Ken telling me, dude, you got to go check out this show. And that's how this stuff happens. That's how life change happens. We appreciate you guys doing that.
It's usually me telling you, you got to buy these pair of shoes.
That's usually what it is. But Ken, you're a history buff. So you're always telling me about shows on Netflix. They always start with some year. I can't remember any of them. He's like, you got to watch 1892 and 1799.
Well, it's the Yellowstone series. People know what I'm talking about.
And then there's one, All Quiet on the Western Front. There's too many wars, too many characters, Ken. I can't keep up.
Now I don't feel like I can trust you with my recommendations. You're going to tell
I fall asleep during these old-timey war movies.
You're a sci-fi guy, aren't you?
Yeah, I like action, adventure, comedy.
Yeah.
There we go.
You mean Jurassic Park?
Yeah.
Okay.
Big Jurassic fan.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Jeff is hanging out in New Mexico. Jeff, welcome to The Ramsey Show.
Hey, how's it going?
Great. How are you?
Good.
How can we help today?
Well, I'm trying to make a decision if I should buy a house right now or if I should decide to continue to rent. Right now, my rent's about $2,250 a month, and I don't have any credit card debt. The only debt that I do have is I own my Jeep and I have student loans.
What's left on the Jeep?
About $14,000.
And what is left on the student loans?
About $84,000.
Whoa. Well, you called into our show, I'll give you our advice, and that is until you're out of debt with a fully funded emergency fund, we're not even ready to start saving up that down payment. How much money do you have saved?
About $80,000.
Okay. Well, that's good news at least. What's your income?
Roughly about $135,000 a year.
Oh, wonderful. Great shovel there. And so the question becomes, if we throw almost all 80 at the debt, that would leave us with 18 grand to pay?
Correct.
And then making 135, how quickly could you pay off $18,000?
Oh, I'd assume probably 3 or 4 months.
So now think about that. 3 or 4 months from now, you don't have any payments, and we can save up that emergency fund of 3 to 6 months of expenses in a few more months? Beyond that?
Be ready to purchase a house.
And then, so let's say, you have this goal of saying, hey, 6 months from now, I want to pay off all my debt and have an emergency fund in place. Now, for the next 6 months beyond that, I'm going to start saving up that down payment, which, by the way, you have freed yourself of all your payments, so you're going to save up that down payment really fast.
Okay.
And then you go, what goal do I need to have saved for this down payment? 15-year fixed-rate mortgage, that's no more than about a quarter of your after-tax income monthly, and that will help you figure out how much you need to put down. It could be 10%, it could be 20%, it could be more. Have you looked at homes in your area that you would want to purchase?
I have. We've been looking around. I guess the biggest part and I had an idea of what you all would say. I watch your show pretty frequently, but I guess the part I was thinking was, man, that rent is just eating me up, and it's going nowhere.
Well, what's your take-home pay? You're making 10 grand a month?
Yeah, roughly about 10 grand.
And so that $2,250 is less than 25% of your take-home pay, and which is reasonable. Yeah, it feels high, but you have a great income.
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes to the mortgage, you go ahead and you're going, well, the mortgage could be $2,250 or less, but it's a short-sighted thinking because there's so much more to worry about as a homeowner while you've got payments over here with your student loans and your car payment, which adds insult to injury and a whole lot of stress.
So, Jeff, I just want to challenge you on one little mental flip here. It's not the rent that's eating your lunch. It's the debt. It's your expenses. That's what's doing it. See, you got to live. Now, if you want to live somewhere else where rent is cheaper, you can do that. But the mindset here has got to be, the debt is what's eating my lunch. All those extra payments, I got to pay something to live somewhere, right? That's non-negotiable.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the mindset switch. So now, because you'll get distracted if it's like, well, the rent's what's dragging me down, so now I got to go buy a house. That's not what's dragging you down. It's the debt.
Absolutely.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
I do.
What do your payments add up to every month?
Roughly about 15. Well, it's a $350 payment on the Jeep, but I put down $1,500 a month every time. And on the student loans, I put down roughly about $1,000 every month, but it's only a $600 payment.
So you're throwing $2,500 at the debt right now to pay that off early?
Yeah. Right.
Nice.
That's awesome. So now imagine that being freed up and that working for you instead of paying for the past.
Okay.
And you start to go, all right, I'm going to be a homeowner soon. I just got to really start to do things one at a time with focused intensity, which means I'm getting out of debt. That is my next A1, which means, 79 of that 80,000 can be thrown at the debt tomorrow. Does that scare you a little bit to have 1,000 in the bank?
A little bit, yeah.
I like it because guess what? You make $135,000. So you're going to be okay. If something happened, you had a real emergency, you could pause and cash flow it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
So I hope that gives you some peace and confidence on this plan. You got an amazing income, and I just want it working to build your future instead of paying for the past, which is what it's doing right now. You're throwing more in payments on the debt than you are to the rent.
That's true.
And rent gives you freedom right now.
Your HVAC breaks, it's not your problem.
Yep.
So you're going to be there in no time. way faster than most people. Even with this pile of debt here, you got a bunch of money in the bank, you have an amazing income, and I believe in the next year or two, you will be a homeowner, and you're going to do it with such peace and clarity and wisdom, and then you're going to pay it off early. Because, again, you're doing the 15-year, and you don't have any payments except for that mortgage, which is a reasonable mortgage, which means you've got margin to throw extra on that. How old are you?
30.
30 years old. Ken, I guarantee you by the time he's 40, this thing's paid off, and he's a baby steps millionaire.
I agree. 100%. Jeff, how's that feel?
Well, smile from ear to ear.
There we go.
There we go. We got Jeff smiling, Ken. That's a big win.
I'm telling you.
This is big. But, Ken, what just happened there was we just rearranged the pieces of Jeff's life to give him some hope.
Yeah.
Because right now, a lot of people are just doing too many things at once. They're trying to pay off the debt, but they also want to be homeowners, but they know they should be investing in the 401k, and they've got the match over here, and they want to go on vacation, and you can do all of those things, but they have a time and a place.
Right. And so what you were talking about there is prioritizing your focus. And, I like to nerd out on stuff. You get on me about nerding out about history, but I also nerd out. I read a lot of like neurological books and psychology books of the way we think. And there's a very famous psychology study. It's world renowned. And the short version is they put a bunch of people in the room, let's say 20 people in a room, and they said, here's what we want you to do. We want you to watch this 7-minute video. And it's a bunch of guys doing a basketball drill where they're passing the ball all the way up and down the basketball court. What we want you to do is focus on how many times the ball is passed in the 7-minute video. That's the only thing. Sit there with a pencil and write down every time the ball is passed. So the respondents were like, okay. Halfway through the video, they had a guy in a gorilla costume run out in the middle of the floor, stand in the middle of the drill for about 30 seconds, and then leave. When the video was over, the people running the study came back in the room and they said, how many times was the ball passed? And every respondent gave their number. And then they said, how many of you saw the gorilla? And only 2 people saw it. Now, why do I share that? That's pretty wild.
That's a lesson on focus.
The power of focus. They were focusing only on how many times the ball had been passed. So we just got Jeff to a place where his focus should be and only on paying the debt off. And when we focus on the right things, everything else goes with it. It's maniacal. It's successful. What are you focused on? That's the question.
Life lessons from Ken Coleman involving basketball and gorillas. You can only get that right here on The Ramsey Show.
While in a cardigan. Hey folks, Ken Coleman here. Did you know The Ramsey Show is one of the most popular podcasts in the world? Get your daily dose of advice on life and money. Check out all of our shows from the Ramsey Network wherever you listen to podcasts.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pod's Moving and Storage Studio, it's The Ramsey Show, where America hangs out to have a conversation about your life and your money. I'm Ramsey personality George Campbell, joined by my good friend Ken Coleman, and we are here for you, America, answering life's biggest questions about money, work, purpose, and everything in between. 888-825-5225 is the number to call. Gus is going to kick us off in Orlando. Gus, welcome to the show.
Hey, guys. Thank you.
Absolutely. How can Ken and I help?
I'd like to know what you guys think would be the best for me to do with the money that I have in my bank account.
All right. How much do you have?
I have about $20,000 in it right now, and I have a job it's a full-time job that I contribute to my Roth 401k, and I put about 17% into that.
Okay.
And I've also already contributed to my individual Roth, the max for 2023 as well.
Way to go. What's your income?
Thank you. 73.5.
Great. Do you have any debt?
No.
Okay. So we're going to call this 20 your emergency fund plus a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what's your next goal?
I'm really not sure.
Because you're at what we would call baby step 4. How old are you?
25.
Okay. Are you married?
No.
Okay. Do you want to be a homeowner?
I do, but I'm not in a rush.
Okay.
What do you want to do? What do you think about doing 10, 15, 20 years from now? Because I know you're thinking about it. So don't tell me, well, I don't know. No, you may not be sure, but I think you got some ideas. Hit me.
Yeah, basically, I just want to have as much money as quickly as possible, so I don't have to work until
why as quickly as possible?
70.
What's the rush when you say as quickly as possible?
Well, so I can stop working.
Oh, so you're the part of the FIRE movement.
So do you already hate what you do for work?
No, I don't hate what I do. I would just prefer to do something other than.
So let's say 10 years from now, you got $1 million, Gus, and you cannot work anymore. What are you going to do?
I would probably just move out west somewhere and go live in the mountains and hang out.
Just like be a mountain man? Just hanging out with cattle?
Yeah, go. No, not cattle, not a farmer. Probably just go hiking, snowboarding.
Okay, and then how
outdoor activities.
All right, and that's by the way, that's fantastic. And then about 60 to 90 days of that, you're going to be bored out of your skull, and you're going to want to make a contribution to the world.
Yeah, maybe.
No, guaranteed. This idea, you've heard of this FIRE movement, financially independent, retire early. Is that what this is?
This is the first time I heard of that.
Okay, it's a whole movement, and there's a lot of young people doing. They're going, and it sounds really wise, right? Work really, really hard, make as much money as fast as possible in a short period of time, and then just stop working. Here's what I'm trying to tell you, young man, and I know you don't believe me yet, but I'm asking you to trust me. We as human beings want to make a contribution. We just want to make the world a better place in some way. Do you agree or disagree? And I don't mind if you disagree.
No, I agree.
All right, then. So you go in and have fun and all that adventure stuff, that's awesome. But at some point, you're going to wake up and you're going to go, I need to do something besides play. So if you agree with the first statement that humans long to make a difference in the world, then at some point we want to do more than play. And so I'm just curious, what have you wondered about? George gave you the question. You got $1 million and you've gone out west and you've played in the mountains and hung out and whatever for who knows how long. And then you get bored and you really want to do something. What is it that you're thinking about?
I have no idea.
All right.
I think we got some searching to do.
I think you got to be confident to go, I've thought about this. Doesn't mean that's what you're locking into. I've thought about this. Can I just tell you this, and I'll give you back to George on the money stuff, but I really want to challenge you on this. The very same pull to go hang out in the mountains and do all that mountainy, outdoorsy stuff, the same thing that's pulling you there, I would suggest to you that you should think about working in that space and getting paid to do that kind of stuff. That's what I think. But what do I know? George?
Well, Gus, on the money side, you're doing incredibly well.
Yeah.
At 25, you're maxing out retirement accounts. You've got the savings and investing muscle down. Are you renting right now?
I currently live at home right now. I've only been working for a year, and I haven't been wanting to buy anything, and rent where I live is very high, and luckily my parents have been generous enough to allow me to stay home.
So what's the long-term plan? To keep living with mom and dad?
No, I'm planning on moving within this year, but I plan on moving out of state, and I'm trying to figure out which city I'd like to live in.
Okay. Well, that would be your next move, obviously, financially, and so preparing for that is important. You can store that $20,000 in a high-yield savings account. You'll get about 3 or 4% right now, and so that's the best thing to do with the money you have currently. I would invest 15%. Right now, you're doing 17%. I would slim that investing back to 15% right now because we have other goals other than retirement right now. You got a long time till you can even access those retirement funds without penalties. So let's start saving up a huge chunk of cash for, you're going to need a deposit. You're going to need furniture. You're going to want to put a down payment on a home. You're going to want to upgrade the car in the next, 5
Sounds like
to 10
he's going to
years.
need a tent.
You might need a tent if you're going to be out west. And so they're just.
Got a tent. Don't worry.
He's already got the tent. He's got that covered.
All right.
But I would go out on your own. I mean, you have a great income, even if you have to get a roommate. I think just getting out on your own, even with a roommate, like moving into that adulting phase, gives you such dignity and independence that I think you're craving right now.
Okay.
So I don't know that you don't need to be safe. You're in a great financial position to move out from mom and dad.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
And if it scares you a little bit, good, because that's going to be life. You're going to have to start paying all the bills on your own, and I think that will give your dollar something to do and give you a little more purpose that I think you're craving right now.
And can I gift you something, my young friend? I want to give you my book, From Paycheck to Purpose. I want you to read it, listen to it. We'll give you whatever format you want. I really want you to just dial into what's pulling you out west and all that, and really think about your long-term contribution, that you just go, this is just who I am. This is me. I've always been this way. This came easy to me. I've always liked this kind of stuff. And this kind of thing, this result motivates me. It's really important for young people, all of us, to understand that. But right now, you're set up to actually be able to go do it. And I want you to dream on that. So hang out for a second.
Yeah, you've got a great foundation. And Ken, I just keep coming back to this quote. I don't even know where it's from, but it just, go west, young man.
Oh,
That's Gus. He's doing it.
Yeah.
And I'm proud of him. Most 25-year-olds, they're not doing this kind of stuff. And so you've got a great financial foundation. Now we just got to put that to use and go, what was I created to do? What should I be contributing to for the next 30 years of my life? Great goal. This is The Ramsey Show. Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm George Camel, joined by Ken Coleman, and we are having a good time. If you want to join us, call 888-825-5225. It is time now for our question of the day, and it is brought to you by Cardigans.
A timeless and versatile wardrobe staple that every serious man needs.
Collarless, timeless cardigans. What's there not to love?
Yeah.
Man. Good stuff. Today's question comes from Jim over in Maryland. He says, I've been practicing your ways since I was in college, and I'm in baby steps 4 and 3B while saving for a big down payment on a house. My parents asked me for money and have finally admitted to their debts and their house payment, even though I've known their money situation for years. They were embarrassed to ask me and were crying. They want to get out of debt and stop forever. I offered to put my parents through Financial Peace University, and I explained to them how they can get to a point of never having to ask me or anyone else for money ever again, but only if they were open and honest about all their debts and actually go through it together. They want to do it. They've accepted it. How do I make sure they do it, and how do I hold them accountable or make them accountable? Should I know about their debts, or is this already embarrassing enough for them? Should I just gift FPU and whatever they do with it, they do? Any help is greatly appreciated. Oh, man, the child is parenting the parents.
Yeah, and that is kind of a natural progression through life. It really is, as the parents get older. You know, George, I'm curious to know what you think on this. As I was listening to that, I think he has the answer to that question. And it comes down to this. What is your existing relationship like with your parents? Like when you got to have real conversations with them, what's that like? He just inherently knows. And if they're really willing and they're saying, we want to do this, I think he goes to them and says, hey, I'm willing to do this, or this. What are you comfortable with? And, you know, just see where they're at. He can read them. He can hear them. I would just approach it that way. Throw it all out there as a menu, and they can choose which items they want.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, we know you can't force anyone. You can't change anyone. What you can do is encourage them. You can coach them, and I think you're on the path to doing that through gifting them FPU. Maybe you go through it with them. Say, hey, I'll come over once a week. We'll do dinner. We'll watch the next lesson. We'll talk about it. We'll have a discussion about it, and I'll help you guys get out of this mess. But what you don't want to do is enable them in any way. Clearly, they're at a point where the fact that the parents are even opening up about their finances to them, they're crying, they're emotional about it.
I think
it tells me they've had their I've had it moment.
Yeah, I think you're right. I agree. I would just be open and honest. They'll tell you what they're comfortable with and what they're not.
And if they ask for your advice, give it to them.
Yeah.
Otherwise, Dave calls it powder butt syndrome. They're not going to listen to the kid who they powdered their butt 20 years ago. Yeah. And so that's a hard thing for a kid to give a parent financial advice. But the fact that you're living this out to the point where they're coming to you because of how you've managed your finances, number one, you're changing your family tree. And number two, I think it's very honorable to your parents to want to help them in this way. And gifting them FPU is a great, great start.
Yeah.
So way to go, Jim.
Yeah.
But it's a sad situation.
Yeah.
Parents out there, you can do better. You don't have to go to your kids asking them for money. That's not what you want later on in life. And it's part of why we tell people, hey, focus on your own retirement before you try to help your kid get on their feet, because this is what happens. The parents didn't prepare well. They weren't in a good financial spot. Now they're knocking on the kid's door saying, hey, we need $5,000. Can we borrow some money? Yeah. So not what you want. All right, let's go to the phones. Julie joins us up next in Grand Junction, Colorado. Julie, welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hey, guys. Thanks so much for taking my call. Happy Friday.
You as well.
I am looking forward to your advice on my situation. So during the pandemic, both hubby and I lost our jobs. Hubby has been able to find a new job. I've been able to find a new job just by reaching out to someone else that I knew who was wanting to set up a nonprofit doing what I had been doing 10 years previous to that. And so, of course, during that time when we were looking for jobs and trying to navigate the pandemic, we've got 2 teenagers, and we went about $30,000 into debt. And that didn't feel great. And we never had done FPU before, but now that we both have 2 jobs, we went through FPU last fall, and we finished up in December, and we're in baby step 2. We've paid off close to $8,000 since December, so that's like in a month, which feels great.
Awesome.
But the job that I was able to find is a part-time job, setting up a new nonprofit. My pay is being sponsored by the people who run the organization, and the organization doesn't have enough funding just yet in order to pay for me to be full-time doing the job. It's super fulfilling. It's nonprofit work. It's amazing stuff, feeling good every single day when you come home. And I've recently been contacted by a recruiter in the area who could triple my income if I worked with her, did something not nonprofit, and did what I'm doing now, basically, but on a full-time level and in the for-profit sector. It might help to know that I'm 54, hubby is 58. So we got a late start.
What are you? This sounds really great, but you're not sure. Why?
No, I'm really, really struggling because
with what?
I love what I do so much.
But I thought I heard you say, I'm sorry, but I thought I heard you say that the new job offer would be doing what you're doing now.
Somewhat, but not for nonprofit. So
what
it
is
would be
the difference?
Administrative type work.
Okay.
It would be administrative type work, but not for the good of other people.
All right,
there's
so
not that direct
I
line of
get
feel
it.
good.
So it's the mission of this nonprofit. It's not the fact that it's nonprofit. It's the missional piece of it.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
and do you mind just telling me very quickly what the result is for people that this nonprofit is producing that you are so connected to?
Yeah, they get an assistance dog.
Okay. So I got an idea. Well, I got one more question. I feel like a lawyer in front of a judge. One more question, Your Honor. How quickly, how dramatically would tripling your income change everything that you want? How much better? I mean, I just want you to describe it to me. How much better would it make things?
Yeah, we could get out from underneath this debt like in 6 months, and then we could start working on the other baby steps because we don't have any of those.
Good. And how great would that feel?
Amazing.
Okay.
I would be able to like completely change my entire family tree.
Okay, I'm so excited. I've got an idea, and I hope you like it. Are you ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
I want you to let me finish and then tell me what you think. Here we go. I think you should take the job offer from the recruiter that triples your income, fast forwards the baby steps, and one more and then you volunteer for the nonprofit that you love so much, because they always need volunteers, and you still have a connection to placing assistance dogs to help people. So you don't lose the connection, but you make the money. Now you can tell me what you think of my idea. Be gentle.
No, I actually think it sounds amazing, because I think, as you know, when you're working every day helping other people, yes, it's super fulfilling, but it also draws on you, right?
Yep.
You know, there's a cost emotionally. And I think that sounds like a really great idea, and I hadn't thought of it before.
So there's no buts here. You're going to do it?
I got to run it by hubby.
Trust me. Let me go ahead and speak on behalf of hubby. He's going to like it.
It's kind of it's a family decision. I mean, I've kind of been talking to hubby about this a little bit, and he's like, but you haven't given this enough chance, and I know how happy this makes you. And
but here's the deal. You're not going to lose the happy. You're going to volunteer maybe a couple nights of the week or on weekends. You're an administrative whiz. You're already using your administrative talent to make that nonprofit work better for the ultimate result. And so you're going to keep doing it, but you're going to do it as a volunteer, get the fulfillment, that contribution. That's what I'm talking about. You were created to make a difference, and you can do that, plus make triple, get out of debt, and live the life you've always dreamed of.
Heck yeah. Get that financial foundation this year. It's a building year.
Yes.
And then you're ready to do whatever you want. If you want to work at that nonprofit for very little pay later down the road, you have the ability to do that because you set yourself free financially. I love it. Great advice, Ken. This is The Ramsey Show. Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. It's a new year, and that means new goals, and so many of you have got that new career on the goal list, and you got to check out the Get Clear Career Assessment by my friend and America's Career Coach, Ken Coleman. This assessment will help you find fulfillment in your current job, know the career you were created for, and uncover your passions and talents. If you're choosing quiet quitting over there because you want to make a change, you don't know where to start, I'm telling you, the Get Clear assessment is a great place to start. The whole thing will take you 15 or 20 minutes, answer some questions. Minutes later, you'll get a custom report that describes what truly drives you, your top strengths, and possible careers that would be a great fit for you. So you can start by getting that Get Clear assessment at RamseySolutions.com/getclear.
Yeah, it's honestly my life's work to be able to give people self-awareness really quickly. All we're doing is asking you deep, but very simple, but deep questions about you. And for many people, they just see themselves the way now the world has been seeing them for a long time. And the opportunity to be great is totally based on your ability to know how unique you are. So your uniqueness is where we find greatness, and we want to help you do that. And a lot of derivatives, but simply put, you're going to experience more meaning and make a lot more money. So check it out. It's a great tool.
All right, let's go to the phones. Carrie joins us up next in Mobile, Alabama. Carrie, welcome to the show.
Hey, good afternoon. I just wanted your input as far as if you were in my situation, what you would do. I'm a single parent. I'm in the middle of bankruptcy, and my car isn't working, so my car's down. And I was just served papers for eviction.
No.
I'm I'm not currently working. Give me a moment.
It's okay. Take your time, Carrie. You're under it right now.
I have really prayed about calling, and I honestly didn't think I would get through.
Well, you were supposed to get
Serve a
through.
note on the enemy because I'm going to come on top.
Come on.
I'm going to get through this.
Yeah, you are.
I'm 51. I have 2 children, and it's a really long story, but their father is not involved.
How old are the kids?
My youngest 2 are 11, and he's on the spectrum, and then I have a 7-year-old daughter.
Okay. Are you able to work?
I have some issues physically, but I have in the past. But I'm home now because I had to retain attorney for my son for an IEP. I don't have to pay for that. Like it's free.
Right.
To children with IEPs. So I'm in the process of that.
But if I were to call you and an hour from now and say, "Hey, I got a job for you," are you able to go do the job? Assuming that it does not have all the physical limitations, but could you work?
My car isn't working. Like, it's been down since before Christmas.
I get that.
I had the battery. I'm sorry?
I get it, but can you work? Or do you have who would watch the kids? That's what I'm trying to say. I mean, we've got to figure. You don't. So
it's just me, correct.
So you couldn't work out of the house, theoretically, right?
Correct.
You have no friends and family that could watch the kids?
No, I do not.
Okay. So the only work that you could do, because we've got to get some income in here, right, is when you're working remotely, right?
Correct.
Okay. Because then you don't have to have transportation. So, because we got to get some income in here because you're getting evicted. You got a lot coming your way.
Yeah. Have you looked into, do you have a bankruptcy trustee that you're working with?
I called him today, and he recommended filing Chapter 13 because I have a payment each month. And the only reason I went that way was to keep my vehicle. But he suggested filing Chapter 13 and getting rid of that $100,000 debt and just
what's the $100,000 debt?
Vehicle. Medical bills. That's why I filed bankruptcy, because I was so overwhelmed with the payments and I just couldn't do it.
Now, when you say you're in the middle of bankruptcy, how far are you in the process?
I've already appeared in court.
Okay.
And I missed 2 payments, and the judge said that he wanted to see consistency as far as the payments before it got totally signed off.
Was this while you had no income?
Yes. I mean, I get SSI. My son gets SSI, so I do have.
Is that even enough to cover your rent?
I live in subsidized housing. It's based off my income.
Okay, so how much is your rent?
Currently, it's $93.
Okay.
But you're getting evicted from that housing?
Correct, from being behind
and why
December
is that?
And this month.
Just from being behind the $93 payment?
And last month, yes. That's what the papers say.
So are you going to be able to get other subsidized housing now?
I've been in contact with them, and they stated in the papers that they notified me to pay the rent before the 5th, and they did not. I mean, I knew the rent was due by the 5th, and I understand that. And I've always paid my bills or I've made arrangements. So, I mean, it was
could you fix this by saying, all right, I'm going to come up with the $93 for last month and the $93 for this month and get you back current? Or are they just saying,
have you tried to negotiate with them?
I have.
And what'd they say?
I've been up there and I've called them, and he referred me to the courthouse.
Okay. I would work with your bankruptcy trustee to figure out what your options are, what the laws are. I don't want anyone bullying you around with this. But your A1 right now is food, utilities, shelter, and transportation. That's it. That's all I want Carrie focused on, and making sure those kids have food on the table and a roof over their heads. And whatever you have to do that, even if it's a work from home job or you borrow a car, are you part of a local church community in Mobile?
I am not.
Okay, I used to live there. There are so many great churches there. You got to get plugged in with a church. Let them know your situation. Do you have any family or friends that would be able to help to cover your bills for a month?
That would help me financially? No. I'm on my own.
Okay.
Right?
Well, you've got to have community here.
Yeah.
You can't do this alone right now. And your next step is to get that income up, as Ken said, because we don't need a lot to survive right now, and we're just in survival mode. But that's what we need to focus on, is where are we going to live next? Can we make sure we're not evicted? Can we negotiate with them? Can we scrape by $200? Can we get in touch with a local church community or a ministry out there that can help me right now?
Well, it's not can we, it's we will. Carrie, can I just speak to your mama heart right now?
Yes.
I don't know a stronger human being on the planet than a single mom. I just don't. You're a warrior. You're a mama bear. Would you let anybody harm those kiddos?
Absolutely not. No.
Then I want you to harness that. And I know you have been through unbelievable storms. But you better summon your mama bear right now. And if somebody came to harm those babies, you would die protecting them. And right now, what is harming those babies and harming you is your financial instability. You can work. You must work. You go back to that deadbeat government employee and say, I'm going to come up with $186. You find a way. You fight. You go get a remote job. You fight. You go to a church and say, I'll come to church every Sunday morning with these kids. I need a battery in my car. You fight for those kids. You fight for you now.
Amen. Well, Carrie, hang on the line. We are going to connect you with a financial coach, and we are going to pay for that session so they can dig into the details and walk with you through this. We are here for you. Please call us back. This is The Ramsey Show. Our scripture of the day comes from Romans 12:10. Be devoted to one another in love. Honor one another above yourselves. The great Fred Rogers once said, love and success, always in that order. It's that simple and that difficult. Well, folks, do you know how much you're going to need in retirement? Do you know where you should be investing? In today's economy, it may sound more of a pipe dream than a real possibility, but it is possible to retire early with some hard work and intentional planning. We've got 8 steps on how to retire early in this weekend's edition of the Ramsey newsletter. It's completely free, and you can sign up for it at ramseysolutions.com/newsletter, and you'll get it every Sunday and find out those 8 steps to retire early.
George, I want to point out that our quote of the day was from none other than Mr. Rogers, the ultimate cardigan icon.
I mean, legendary. The zip-up cardigan.
I don't know that anybody's ever done it better than he did.
He innovated in the cardigan space with the zip-up cardigan.
Well, what I like is he walked in, he pulled it out of the closet, put it on while he was walking down the stairs, showed the kids how to neatly put that cardigan sweater zipper together, and he was flawless.
I wish I could say we planned that, but you can't produce that kind of magic.
We couldn't have planned that. Wow.
Oh, man.
We're having too good of a time.
Is there like a National Cardigan Sweater Makers Association? I should be their keynote.
I would pay good money to see you do that.
Yeah, it probably doesn't exist.
They're all wearing cardigans in the crowd.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the phones. Will is in Burlington, Virginia. Will, welcome to the show.
How's it going? Actually,
Good.
it's Vermont, but I'm doing pretty well.
Sorry, the abbreviation was wrong on my screen.
No
Someone's
problem.
getting fired over that. I'm just kidding.
Yep.
It's all right. I didn't know there was a Burlington, Virginia, but it's all right. Yeah. How we doing, Will? What can I help with today?
I'm doing pretty well. I'm actually pretty new to your guys' show here. I've been listening for about a month now. A buddy of mine turned me on to it. Made a lot of stupid decisions financially over the years. Once I started making, really good money, I just did stupid stuff.
It's called lifestyle creep.
So so before I found you guys, I was in the process of getting solar put on my house. And in doing that, I was taking out a home equity loan. So everything, came back. I've been listening to you guys. I'm on baby step 2, hammering down as much as I can. And I'm kind of at a point where I don't know if I should go through with the solar loan and get the solar put on because I'll be saving money on utilities. Or if I should just cancel it.
Will, you're too smart for this, buddy. You know too much now.
Yeah.
You're saying it's not too late to back out of this nightmare.
No, I'll lose $300, but it's not a big deal.
I'll pay that stupid tax to not pay a much bigger stupid tax by taking out this HELOC to pay for solar. What's your utility bill?
Well, I'm an HVAC guy, so I put heat pumps in. This month was $512.
Give me the average. If you divided it out over 12 months, it's not $500 a month.
No, if I average it out, it's probably $300.
Okay, that is $3,600 a year. What are you saving?
It'd be $30 a month.
You're saving $30 a month?
$270. Yeah, it'd be $270.
Okay. This hurts my brain. You're saving $30 a month, which is $360 a year you're saving?
Well, right, but then when the loan's paid off, I won't have to pay for electricity at all.
How much? What's the HELOC you were going to take out?
Like total amount?
Yeah.
It was 37, I believe, 37,000.
What's the interest rate? Variable, probably?
No, it was fixed at 3.99.
So you were going to take out a $37,000 loan at 4% interest to save $360 a year.
Well, long term, I'm not going to have an electric bill.
You're not going to be alive by the time you ROI on this thing.
True.
Look, I'm doing the math for you, which I wish the guy trying to sell you the HELOC did, or the guy selling you the solar. $37,000, right? This is not even counting interest. It would take you 102 years to break even, Will.
Okay.
How old are you?
I figured, but
what's your age?
I'm 34.
Do you plan on living to be 136 years old to see the light of day when you ROI on this?
No.
Okay.
I got a trade-off.
I'm so riled up, Ken.
I know.
Will.
It's ridiculous. Will, did you hear what George said? I mean, if there's only one thing you heard by calling into the show today, and I'm glad you did and glad you're a new listener, is the amount of time it would take you to ROI on that $37,000. 100+ years, he said. I mean, do you need to know anything else? But the sales guy didn't tell you that. Okay, but I got an idea.
No, I was just thinking I wouldn't have an electric or a heating bill.
But that's not.
10 years from now.
But that's not true. You would still have a bill. There was a national news program that did a whole story on this because it doesn't completely remove there's still a cost. Like it doesn't completely wipe your energy out. You need to do the research on it. Actually, you don't, because we already explained why you should eat the $300 and not worry about it, right?
I'm sure the solar panel salesman told you otherwise.
Yeah.
But I just did some third grade napkin math to show you that you won't live to see the day you ROI on this.
But I have an idea.
Right.
I have an idea to lessen the sting of eating the $300. You're going to eat the $300. Okay. You're not going to go into debt for it, but you're going to cash flow some solar walking lights along the front path of your house at Lowe's or Home Depot. Go get you some of those.
Yeah.
Now you got some solar energy and you feel good about that.
Sorry.
I'm just telling you, this whole solar panel thing is the next great scam. It really is.
Yeah, and people are falling for it because they're going, "Why? Yeah, utility bills are high. I could save a quick buck if I do this by going $40,000 into debt and ROIing 100 years from now."
Right. And I was taking into consideration my heating bill because now I've got heat pumps in the house, heat pump water here. So I was like taking that into consideration as well. You know, my heating bill during the winters, $300-400 a month. So I was like, well, maybe this will work out. But then, like I said, I found you guys. I'm like rethinking everything.
I'm so glad you did.
Well, here's the deal. You could save up $37,000 and pay cash for it, and then you got what you want without the 100-year ROI.
Right. I'm going to get rid of the $60,000 in debt first. So
there we go.
Of course, we're just kind of helping.
Is that all of your debt is $60,000?
That's it. I had 72 before I started listening to you guys. I sold a car that I wasn't really using.
Good.
Hammered off two things, and now I've got and the other question is I've got a new vehicle for my wife, and I have a company vehicles, so I don't have to pay for those. But like I'm even at the point where I'm like, well, maybe I should just sell this and then get a cheaper vehicle. You know,
what's the loan on that vehicle?
Now we're talking. Now we're making progress.
What's the loan amount on that new vehicle?
We owe $45,000 on it, and it's $820 a month.
Is that on top of your 60?
No, that's included in the 60.
Okay. Oh, okay. What's the car worth?
About 45.
I'm getting rid of that thing.
Sell it.
What's your household income?
I don't have the cash. I don't have the cash to go and buy another vehicle, and we need one for her. So I'd have
what
to
do you have in savings?
Small loan, like $1,000.
Okay. And what's your household income?
$200,000.
Good gracious!
You make $200,000. Save up $6,000.
Like I said, I
take your next paycheck.
I was stupid.
Get mama an Uber for a month or two. Good grief! At $800 a month payment, you're still coming out. I mean, you realize how ridiculous an $800 car payment is for a depreciating asset?
Oh yeah, I had 3 car payments at one point in time, and I
what are you trying to outdo me?
No, I just, I'm stupid. And I started making money.
No, you're not stupid. You're not stupid.
People who make $200,000 aren't stupid. You're a smart guy.
That's right.
You're just falling for the traps of these scummy salespeople. You're falling for the traps of a toxic money culture. And the good news is you know too much now. You're a dangerous man with some money in your pocket, and you are about to pay off all of this debt, be completely debt-free. And we are rooting for you, my man. Thanks for the call. That puts this hour of The Ramsey Show in the books. My thanks to my cardigan-wearing co-host, Ken Coleman. He rocks it like no one else. My thanks to all the folks in the booth, Will, James, Austin, Zach, Andrew. They're all in there keeping the show afloat. And you, America, thanks for tuning in. Until next time, spend wisely, save intentionally, and give generously. Do you love a good Dave Rant? Want to see the latest Ramsey Show videos going viral? Check out your favorite moments from The Ramsey Show on YouTube. Go watch and subscribe to The Ramsey Show channel on YouTube.